Hey guys, this is the second Forgotten Rant. Um, Wanted to call it, title it Retribution because I'm starting to figure out um, what I want to do with this channel, and I'm figuring out, um, focusing on myself right now and doing that. Mr. D. Wayne was part of that, helping me, indirectly helped me out, focusing on myself too. With that all being said, I've been feeling, generally better about my situation with lack of jobs and all that, and all the other junk I'm dealing with right now. And I've been able to face, arguably, my reality more because I, not necessarily that I'm an atheist, but to me, just to me, it helps being, being against the belief in God, because it just gives you usually a negative point of view, from my perspective. Reason I say that is because, you can do the God creates, his design perfectly. You can look out in nature and see how beautiful it is, which I am, right about now. And it is, but that argument is just not useful for God. Arguably, it's more useful for how beautiful the process of evolution and natural selection is. And you see that, everything adapted to an environment and stuff. Of course, that's how I see it, but people who can also be happy by saying oh, God created this world for me, great. And sometimes that did make me feel good, I'm not gonna lie, when I was Christian. But there's always that flare of doubt I've always had. And even Christians, majority will admit that they've had doubts. And there's a reason why people have these doubts. It's because I think they know, I shouldn't say they know, they live in a world that's, has conditions, and they have to, be happy with, what's around them, despite what the perfect world would be with, their God, And they just can't, and I know I was like this, they just can't, sometimes they just can't accept, what the bad things that that happen around them, because reality is a pain in the ass. And when you have a reward like going to heaven or not going to hell, after you live, that's a good thing to think about, for them, because that's the only way they know to adapt to the bad things that happen in reality. Now, I'm not saying that's the only adaptation they ever get. My parents, don't just go like Jesus and everything will be okay all the time, but I'm not trying to imply that, but it's clear to me that, when you're actually, you shouldn't care about what happens to you in the afterlife, and you should care more about what you can do to help people in your one and only lifetime on Earth. And as far as I know, there is no spiritual world after that. Now, if there is, I'd be using it to help people more. I wouldn't be using it to worship a God that doesn't deserve any worship. That's just me, of course, but when you look into, the realities of life, a lot of things, but especially, the Bible, and just generally like how life goes. It usually comes later in life, especially when you become indoctrinated, because it's harder to see the world as a great thing with all its flaws and failures that it has. But you realize that, that you're. I do consider myself an insignificant speck in the respect that I don't see myself having an objective, meaningful purpose from a God or any of that stuff. I find meaning in every little thing that comes up in life, and even one of my parents has said this. Find meaning in every little thing that goes on, and yet that is not what religion teaches you. It teaches you that the afterlife is where all your happiness will be. You have to stop sinning and stop having sexual pleasures and being gay and all these many things that the religion advocates for quite clearly in the book. Some things more than others, obviously, but it makes no sense to me to live in that sort of environment for me, and that's why. And I know every human is different, but I think honestly, like, if not every single person, almost every single person would be better off without religion, because it's pretty much just convincing someone that this medicine will cure you of all your diseases, and you're just gonna have to believe me on that. I don't have evidence of that, but I don't have evidence of my existence, the existence of this company that made this really great medicine. But you just have faith in me, and it'll be fine. And the only difference between that and religion is that it's more socially acceptable for people to believe the works of an evil merchant or an evil government authority, whatever you want to say. Because there's corruption everywhere, not just in businesses, but also in governments. And when you realize, the short of it is, when you realize the nuances in a lot of things, you realize that in order to help like everyone around you, you should take every moment and reflect and do your best to keep, being a better person and helping other people. You shouldn't be worried about some fucking afterlife, really. And that's the only reason I see Christianity sticking around, is because they want a God like that. If you're a deist, you don't believe in a God that actually helps, like, people in reality. You just made the world and everything goes that way. But then you get into the flaw in the whole, like, it was designed this way, and therefore God must have created it. And then how did your God create it? Like, where's the evidence that your God created it? And whereas it just goes around in circles. To me, the only way you could still believe in a God is because it's comfortable to believe in it. And my dad even explicitly said this. Implicitly said this. By saying that, he just went to Mass to feel like that sort of comfort inside. He didn't go, he said, every week, because it's like I just drop in once in a while and I feel peace with, God or whatever I feel there, He didn't say whatever I feel there, but yeah. Whew. Sorry for the little rant, just a little bit. But this is where, my retribution stands, is that I need to stand for as many true things and things that make people happy and increase the maximal happiness of most people, of the entire race, hopefully, of people, or not race, species of people, to the best of my ability. And that's what we should be focusing on. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on. That's what I'm going to be doing in some form in the rest of these videos, helping people get out of their problems, because, I still like the idea of, like, therapy and all that, but that doesn't seem like I'm going to get into that, or not to mention, being a big rock star and all that, but it's okay. I just accept that that's not likely going to happen anytime soon, and that I gotta first go through paying off my loans from my degree. So that's how it is. And hopefully this helped, anyone who's struggling with that stuff, whether you're an atheist, a Christian, or whatever. Hoping that this had good insight for you. But I'm coming back. Eventually, I'm going to make more videos about topics related to atheism and more. Especially now that I feel better about a lot of things. Yeah. Have a good day, guys. Fuck off. Peace. Forgotten Atheist out.